You rooting for adultery. I don't even remember their names. That's how bad, how immemorable, how they did not even impact the show. They were glamorizing, glorifying, praising an affair. Sally. Good morning, lovers of liberty. Check. So I recently watched Scandal. It was a show under which after every episode I would just gasp and then remember to breathe out, and then like the good girl I'm definitely going to be hitting next episode, and they take me through this emotional roller coaster, this emotional chaos. It's just so fascinating how the show is written. It is written by the best writers in the game. Shonda Rhimes, are you kidding me? Everything she does is really gold. The most famous thing about it is the fact that there's an affair between the lead, Olivia Pope, and the president, Fitzgerald Grant, the dad. And Shonda writes it so well that it has you rooting for adultery, just sinning before the Lord. It got y'all glamorizing, glorifying, praising an affair. If you haven't watched Scandal is a US political drama show. It has the lead as Olivia Pope, who is a fixer in Washington, D.C. Her job is to make problems go away for the elite, for the wealthiest, for the strongest in D.C., and that includes politicians. So she has Olivia Pope's and associates, her team of goons, her team of sidekicks that get to work these cases with her. Is based from a real life fixer called, I think, Joanne Smith, who was the fixer in the George W. Bush administration. So Shonda says that she went to a sitting with her and she told her about her life, and she went on to write this based off her own story. And at the time, I think it came out in 2012. It was the first time in nearly 4 decades that a US TV drama on broadcast TV has a black woman as a lead. What? Long live Kerry Washington, long live Shonda Rhimes, genuinely. So in a nutshell, this show is about power, who has the power, who wants that power, who controls power, who is the source of power, seizing it, control, giving it, taking it away, and the cost that it takes to keep it. And occasionally the president of the United States acting like a fucking toddler. I can't. So we are going to be dissecting this show in 3 categories, in 3 phases, and the first phase is through characters, right? So we're going to categorize the characters, and the first ones are the loud, the rich, and the useless. So the loud one is where we're going to bring in Sally Langston. Sally, lovers of liberty. I will not be silenced. And in this show, her function is offer us a front row seat at moral hypocrisy. She is a religious fanatic. She is the face of religious conservatism. She is a moral absolutionist. Like, it is either good or evil. There is no in-between. It is either you are a wife or a mistress, like that's a bad example, but it is either good or evil, God versus Satan. There is no intermediate with her. She is the one, and she sees herself with this as a woman of virtue and absolute righteousness. She thinks of herself that she speaks for God, she speaks for America, and she speaks for the family. The moral hypocrisy is so quickly dismantled in that, Sally, why did you marry a man that you knew was gay and tried to hide it all your career? Sally, why did you kill your husband, and then you call, of all people, Cyrus Rutherford Bean, of all people, to clean up the mess, the man that wants you literally gone? Like Bombo Baba, because you are the vice president who wants to be president while the sitting president wants to run for the second office, but you're also not quitting as vice president. So Cyrus, the chief of staff, is sick of you. He wants you murdered. You know who you're dealing with. You call Cyrus. You did not stand a chance in politics if that's the move you were making. I was genuinely disappointed when she made the move, because girl, Girl, you could have gotten away with this. You could have taken out the dirt in you because this man was the dirt that was being dug about you, girl. You know that the thing about Sally is she looks down on Olivia because she is the face of adultery. She is the face of breaking a family and breaking a home at the time when the scandal comes out. So it is quite fascinating to see like the people who speaks so much about their morality depend on the people they demonize to fix their messes. And it's Olivia who is called by Cyrus to clean her mess, and now you owe him. That was a dumbass move, girl. But then when she pivots to go to the reporter episodes, they were cracking me up. Like, I loved that move so much because I think when reporting, you don't have to deal with facts. You just have to cause a public outrage and then drive on it and then fuel that fire. And so I think she was the perfect person for that. So when she was like, bitch, in an impressed way, of course, because I'm like, yeah, go get it. Like, if you could not beat them in the political scene, at least you can beat them now here. For the rich part in the loud, rich, and the useless, we have Hollis Doyle. Now, Hollis Doyle is the face, the billionaire face in the show. You know, the kind of man who is capitalism unchecked. He is the kind of guy that is going to show up in presidential campaigns as a donor, so that when the man that he is supporting, or the person, the woman who he is supporting gets in office, he is able to push his agenda, taking what he gave them during the campaign as leverage. And he does that with Fitz. And actually, you know, because the election is rigged for Fitzgerald Grant, the is the one who provides the funds, the resources, the mechanisms, and everything. So all of them, the campaign managers, the chief of staff, kind of like owe him. And he is literally so hilarious. Like, his accent is so funny. When he said like, I'm talking about boom boom ba 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 ba.
This Billy Chambers character has got to go permanently.
You mean?
I mean, bang bang boo hoo bye bye, sir.
Hollis, this is the White House. This man is the president. Talking about murder in the White House in front of the president is like talking about sex in the Vatican in front of the Pope. We do not do it.
Well, la-dee-da. He wouldn't be the president if I hadn't made him the president.
I think I liked him so much when he came to my screen because he's real as fuck. He's not going to pretend to be moral, which we need. At least if you're going to be a bad person, stand on that. You know, be proud of it. You know, rock it. He does not care about morality. Like, his aim is to money. His aim is his business, and he's going to do everything he has to make that possible. And then for the useless part, like, what kind of villains are these? Genuinely, I was so disappointed in them. I don't even remember their names. That's how bad, how immemorable, how they did not even impact the show they were. They felt undercooked, honestly. Like, how do you come to Abby and you promise her vibes and dreams, and you promise her the presidency, and that's the plan? I mean, like, as a viewer, as we were watching, we thought, and we somehow were like, okay, she might as well as go ahead with this, but tell Liv. And even if she doesn't, it's not going to be this thing like, oh, I'm at the edge of my seat, let me see what Abby's going to do. It was not that for us. So that move was like, really coming out breathing fire, trying to scare people. But are we scared? I think not. It was awful acting, but the thing that I'm going to give them credit for is they got Papa Pope. They took command and they were able to really get in his head, and no one ever did that. So maybe that, but the acting was genuinely terrible. I wanted them off my screen. Like, get better villains. Like, I felt like if they came to me, I would literally laugh in their faces, something I would not do with Papa Pope, because I just say I'm material. He looks at you and you shut up. Let's now get to the gladiators. And these were Olivia Pope's sidekicks, the ones who were helping her run her business and her farm, Olivia Pope and Associates. Now, let's start with Abby. Abby is this ambitious girl who is ready to really contradict, who is ready to give her opinion and her view when Olivia Pope is there running the show, calling the shots, right? And you can see there's a sense of tension in that there's admiration for Olivia, but that admiration has a sense of envy and frustration in it, in that I so admire, Abby admires Olivia, you know, the respect that she's able to garner and how she has power even over the White House, over the presidency, how good and excellent she is at her job. But at the same time, she wants to be independent from her. And we see when Olivia Pope actually runs off to go to the sun with Jake and just abandons them, Abby seeks out, in a sense, to have the same influence and power that Olivia had. And you can see that in her decision to go to the White House and be a press secretary. And even when these weak ass villains approach her and promise her the presidency, Abby still hungers for power. And I think it's because she wants the influence that Olivia Pope has. But she is also so quick to realize that to be Olivia Pope is not really something to aspire to, because you have to be willing to make the ugly decisions and be able to sleep at night. You have to be able to choose between a horrible decision that is absolutely you hate and this terrible one that you absolutely don't want even to face. Choose one and have people hate you for it. So I'll be realizing that Charity, I tried, but this is not really something I want, and this is fascinating. But yeah, her relationship with Olivia is that, but Olivia doesn't really make it easy also for Abby to be able to find her independence, because it's like she is not fully able to see Abby as a person who is able to make her own decisions, a person who is able to seek power and want that power and see her as a big dog. So there's that tension too. But I liked Abby so much, especially because she was able to clock the misogyny.
Need me in the White House.
We need you to weigh in on whether it's legal for someone to run for Senate while married to the president.
Well, yes, it's legal, but only because no one ever considered the idea that a first lady would ever run for office. I'm betting if they had, there'd be a law in the books. The ethical implications alone.
But it is legal.
Yes.
Because no one ever imagined that a woman would ever get an idea in her pretty little head to run for office.
Yes, Abby.
So Melly Grant's run for Senate is legal because of misogyny. In this instance, misogyny is our friend. That's what you're saying?
No.
And there was several scenes where you could see her live out this experience, you know, of a woman in and around power in a scene that is dominated by men, and how to survive that, the things you have to endure, the things you have to do, the things you have to say. And it was really offensive to me, especially because for the girls, because why they took so long. It was a microaggression, I think, to Abby. Why they took so long to learn her name. It was Abby. They were calling her Gabby, and it was like, oh my god, the disrespect. Now Huck. I forgot his real name, but he is the hacker in the Olivia Pope's and Associates, the one who always is on the screen on the monitor just typing nothing and just blurting out things that I don't even understand. And he was originally in the B613, which is this military organization that is responsible for killing heads of state, for running the economy of America, for controlling presidents, for murdering the heads of state. He was an assassin for them, and he was saved literally by Olivia Pope. And it is really ironic because it feels like Olivia takes him from one devil and brings her to her, who she is another devil, just in a different clothing. And it is crazy because Olivia Pope saved Huck from this organization that took away everything from him, his family, his dignity and everything. Because she saved him, he almost has this godlike devotion to her, and Olivia Pope doesn't hesitate to weaponize that, because she knows that Huck can quite literally when he starts killing, he may not be able to recover and come back from that, but she uses him and tells him that I need a person murdered, I need him gone. And it's such a show of how Liv does not have the emotional capability to protect the people that she loves. She is willing and able to use them when she needs something to really get done, which is like, girl, you know where this man been. You know that he been doing it all his life. He wants a clean state, and then you instruct him to go down to the road. But and then the love interest that Huck had with Quinn. What was the licking the face like? Oh my god. But they were assassins. They had something. They were getting turned on by murdering people. But I was like, okay, cool, okay, Hank, you really got some game. Whenever they had those TV sessions, with Queen. But now Queen is this weird girl that is brought in a bit later than the other associates, and she was literally saved by Olivia Pope. And I feel like this thing about Olivia Pope saving them is so that they feel that they owe her, which she would absolutely do because she is manipulative as fuck. Now, Queen, why would you want to join B613? Honestly, generally, after seeing how it destroyed Huck, because now you've developed an obsession for killing people and you get off from seeing people die and torturing them. Now you want to join B613? You want to be an assassin for hire? And also the love interest that they had with Huck, it made sense. I did not understand why they had to write her to fall for this guy Charlie. Now Harrison, I liked the guy. He was hilarious. He was funny, and he had this energy that I really do find attractive with people, in that he did not take himself as seriously, and you can tell that he's also a funny person in real life. Like, his acting seemed effortless, like he was having fun, like this is just something he does, this is oozing of him naturally. But in real life, he was beating up his wife. Like, I liked him until I found out he was a piece of shit. And the beating of his wife cost him his job, and they had to also kill him off in the show. But he was my sense of comedic relief before I discovered Hollis Doyle. I liked him, but props to the show for, ending his career for beating your wife, because no violence against women. Finally, we need to talk about David Rosen. David Rosen was not really a gladiator for Liv, but he was the Attorney General, of course, of the United States of America, and he was allegedly supposed to be the good guy, the nice guy, the moral guy. He was supposed to be this person that stands for the law, and he believed that institutions can work, that when we are truthful, that when we do things the right way, that eventually things have to pan out and we have to do this under the law. And I hated him for the lack of a strong backbone, for the lack of this assertive nature I would expect from any attorney general. He seemed so much of a pushover, genuinely, and I not like that. Like, when he went against Liv, like, there was no tension, there was no struggle, there was no I'm also a big dog, while Liv was on the other side. And I did not like that. And the relationship with Liz North, really, how do you come from I hate you so much, but when you come 5 centimeters close to their face, suddenly it's passionate kissing and it's a steamy session, and now she is a regular at your office? I hate that trope so much. I'm so tired of it. I was like, get this shit off my screen right now. Like, what are we doing? And the gag is, Liz was sleeping with Rosen, and Liz was instructing Rosen that if he wanted for this agreement, this relationship to continue, he needed to sort of sleep with the vice president that she was working with so that he could inspire her to run for the presidency, so that this Liz could be the chief of staff and get her dream of being in the Oval and run this country. So it's an arrangement of you are attorney general, what are we doing? I wish it was played with a character who was a big dog, someone who would go toe to toe with someone like Olivia Pope and Eli Pope. And because he was this nice guy, Scandal rewarded him by killing him off in the final episodes. An nod to actually say that you cannot want to destroy power without first becoming it. So let's go to the big dogs. The big dogs. And we're going to kick this off strong with Olivia Pope. It's handled. Miss a good blowout. Miss wearing a sick-ass fancy coat with a designer bag. Miss, I got this shit done. Miss enters a room and she is magnetic. She is beautiful. Her dresses for the balls, for the things she attended for in the White House, like, she was so well styled. She is extremely good at her job, which is making problems disappear, which is also skewing the truth. She understands, like, what matters is not the truth but what people perceive to be true. And so she was the one standing with that line between truth and the public. And even she was so excellent at her job at making a president that Melly had to stomach that she had to work with her husband's mistress because she wanted the presidency for herself. And she is raised by Eli Pope, who is command of B613, and he's all about power, seizing it, having it, controlling it, and he gets to groom Olivia into being like him. Even while Olivia tries to resist so much being like her dad, she is in so many ways like exactly like him. And even having a mom who was an international spy does not help. And Olivia did not have a chance to be normal. She did not have a chance to know what safety feels like. She just knows control. She just knows power. She just knows to say it's handled, because that is what all her life she has been wired for. And one of the fascinating things that happened with her storyline is that she actually got to kill. She murdered somebody. And I was thinking while watching, it was like, I thought this was something off the limits, but I think it's nice to note that it's not. And it breaks off this expectation that you have in your head as a viewer that, okay, we have kind of like a good guy. I mean, she's awful, like, she's bad, like, she needs some work, she needs some therapy, but it's like killing is off limits for our lead, but she does it. In my head, I love the idea of imperfect characters, because that's more realistic than having this person that just doesn't do this one thing, right? So that one thing, I think, was us to see for us as the viewer to kind of like see her as more than just a fixer, the one who gets to hold it together, because that night she lost it, meaning you just like us, she's just like everyone else. Now Olivia, why would you admit that you are a mistress with 50,000 cameras in your face in your home? You admit it? Girl, you are the Olivia Pope. 8 years staying a mistress? Like, I understand you had a terrible background. 8 years a mistress? I love you, but damn, it was hard. I don't. What is it with this man? Why would you say that? And also the fact that she wanted to be command, B613 command, like, that solidified to me that she was really her father's daughter. And even though she wanted to claim so much that she is different, she's going to do different, she's not going to be like her father, who is violent and who wants power and to control it. That action was her just falling for the conditioning that she's had since birth, like, well, and then wanting Queen, being okay with Queen being taken out of the planet, being okay with that. Even your dad could not do it. Even your dad at a point had Olivia, girl. And then we now go to Mr. President. Mr. President, he is a man-child. He is a terrible president. He puts everything above his duty. He has had everyone working their butts off, the people around him, to give him his whole career, and the one thing they ask him to do, which is at least care and at least do your job as president, still he's failing at that. And the monologue also that Eli Pope read him to fill in, you are a boy, I'm a man. That monologue actually shows and it brings about this theme of the white privilege that he has. He has had everything chewed up for him. His wife Melly has built him. I built you. Cyrus has had to clean his messes. Olivia has had to run his campaign. Heck, even the election has been rigged for him, and still he cannot do a good job. And he has the nerve to actually start being a drunkard in the White House when he realizes that his close allies, his close family, his close friends lied to him and rigged the elections for him. Sir, you have a country to run. I am sorry, you don't get to be emotional, you don't get to feel hard, maybe for 2 days, but you completely disregard that you have responsibility. You are commander-in-chief. No, I need to calm down. He really did piss me off. Did you even want to be president? And when you look at his context, his father Big Jerry really did not believe in him, and Fitz sort of lived his life looking for his approval and wanting to prove him wrong. So running for president was actually with that thought, to try to be like, look, I'm president of the United States, so you know to his father. And it's just like, he did not have any power, and I hated it so much when he would walk around the Oval and talking about, I am president of the United States of America, the most powerful man in the world. You are just a figure. You are just the figure, the head, the figure of power. You do not actually yield the power. The people truly with the power are your advisors. It is Olivia Pope, it is Cyrus, it is heck, even Melly. The people who are around you that tell you what to do are the people with power. So I'm gonna need you to shut up when the big dogs are talking. Why the hell is the president going to war for his mistress, for Olivia? I love Olivia, but I mean, years ago, if I watched it when it came out, I would have eaten that up and been like, oh my god, he really does love her. He went to war for her. But now it's just like, I mean, what? Also, I was so mad when he got fooled by Papa Pope twice. Like at once. Like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let this go because it's only once. When Pope literally got B613 back, you let him have that back, and he lied to you and framed Jake for killing your son Jerry, and you believed him because you were mad at Jake for sleeping with Olivia. So it's easier to believe that he was actually the one at fault so that you could have an excuse to beat him up. Why are we getting fooled twice? But LA Pope is that good, but you're the president, sir. This man treated his wife Melly like a piece of garbage. Like, I understand that the marriage was political, it was orchestrated, it was not something they went into being lovebirds, but at least respect the agreement. So treating the wife like shit when she built you, when everything she did was to get you to that Oval, not even acknowledging that, hello, I did not like him. And also, is he hot? No comment. Like the aura, the yearning for Liv, the tension, the chemistry with Liv might make him, might add some bonus points to the alleged hotness, but is he? Why the relationship worked so good is, I think, because they saw themselves in each other. So both of them have complicated relationships with their dad. They share dad trauma. Liv, on the one hand, has been raised by a B613 command who literally instructs people to kill people, and they do. And so it's about power and seizing power and grooming her to always know that she has to be in control, or else she's going to feel powerless. So she has this rigid life plan laid out for her. And on the other hand, we have Fitz, who has a piece of shit dad who he literally is so mad at for sleeping with a mistress and having a mistress, and the dad does not believe or is proud or think Fitz is going to really amount to anything. So him taking on the presidency is a sense of like, look what I did, dad, are you proud of me now? So both of them share a trauma of they now have these lives that they are leading that feel rigid, and so being with each other to feel seen, they're able to feel like I am seen here, I am heard here, you understand who I am because I am walking almost a similar path to you. And it works best because Liv gives him the confidence to be a leader. Like she has really amazing, great judgment, making decision, campaigning, everything. She makes him confident, in the presidency, while Fitz, what he offers to Olivia is permission to feel. While when Liv is with Fitz, she doesn't have to be the fixer. She doesn't have to be this strong woman that's always put together, that's always the face of resilience. She doesn't have to be Command's daughter. She doesn't have to be her father's child. She just gets to be a woman in love, and the dynamic works like that. And I don't think they were soulmates. It's the relationship to me is not really soulmate coded. It's more of like they're just trauma bonded with an insane chemistry. I don't know, but I do understand how they found how their relationship did work, and the dream to be in Vermont and make jams more really over fantasy. It would take them quite a lot for them to stay in that life. It was easier to believe that that option was there so they could go through this life, at least knowing that there would be something if they wanted to outside of it. So, and now to Melly, she is the ultimate bad bitch in the show. She is strategic, she is forward thinking, she is smart too, and she is first lady and the wife of Fitzgerald Grant III. She was, and she dubbed herself as this political animal and her decisions really had to make sense. So the context with Fitz is that they had a political marriage. It was orchestrated by Big Jerry, and so going into it, they knew that her role was to really make him have a political career, get to the White House, and that would be fine. But when Big Jerry forced himself on her, everything changed. Suddenly she could not be able to stomach the idea of even sleeping with his son Fitz, and Fitz uses that, like the dumb as he is, he saw that as rejection, and he did not even care to just ask like, what is going on, can we get to the bottom of this for like 20 plus years? And he uses that as justification, as I sought love elsewhere and I had an affair because you were cold towards me. A way of justifying the affair that he had for eight fucking years. And Melly thought that and she actually says that in the show, that she thought Liv was just going to be a phase. It's not going to be a one-time thing, one-time affair with Fitz, but it was heartbreaking to realize that she was here to stay, that she would be someone that their lives would circle around. When Melly saw that this marriage was almost like a public humiliation and there was no love, and Fitz was having this affair, she thought like, if I'm not going to get love from this, then I might as well as win. Decision that she made from that place had to make sense, and she had one goal in mind, which is to get to the Oval, which is to be the first female president, and she got it. I sympathize with her a lot in the show because of how Fitz treated her. She did not deserve to be treated like that. But again, I do also see how she also chose this life. She went to this marriage knowing what it was. What she did not, however, account for is that it would turn into this. Like Big Jerry would rape her, Fitz would get an affair. It would be a shit show of a marriage. But I feel, and I do strongly lean into this the fact that Fitz should at least have respected her and given her basic human decency. Treating her like shit was not the move at all. But what I absolutely adore about Melly is that she was not going to let anyone victimize her. She was never going to see herself as defeated, and even if it meant working with the mistress so that she could gain the office because she's the best in the game for doing that, she was going to do that. Like, she has the heroic right to be both a bitch and a bastard at the same time. She earned the presidency. She deserved it. She saw it. She deserved it. I liked it for her. I love that she had that ending for herself. I almost also wish that she had a love interest that was able to really see the magic in her, because I loved the episode with Andrew where they were going on and off, bouncing off of each other with this, I think, policy, ideologies and everything. And Andrew stopped and looked at her and said, like, it's such a shame that he doesn't see what I see. Someone who looked at her brilliance and saw it as that and appreciated it. I wish that for herself, but I feel like because the goal that she had in mind was to be president of the United States and she got that was quite an okay ending. And she actually graduated fast, whatever, in law school. And the role of first lady, she was too small for that. She says that herself, because it is often an ornamental, something to be seen and not talk type of role. Being close to power but not being able to have it for yourself. And she was telling Fitz, like, give me the CIA, give me something, give me some sort of power. I'm like a rose on a vine here. That was true. She wanted power. She wanted something grand and big, and she made a plan for it. And her thing was, she was not going to let anything. She was willing to work with anything and everything. She was willing to do everything for political, for the White House and for her to get the Oval. But that's whatever she did also was some of the things that was like, girl, Melly, why would you have a whole ass baby just so that you could save your husband's presidency and dub the baby America's baby? Why would you like lie to the voters that you had a miscarriage to get sympathy votes? Melly. And I remember something hypocritical also that Fitz did was he kicked out Melly. Actually, he did kick out Melly. And the offense of Melly was simply being blackmailed to give away the names of the jurors that were supposed to be on a case that Papa Pope killed. She did not even know they were going to be killed. She maybe speculated, but she did not know for sure. And it was so hypocritical because Fitz shot down a whole ass plane with 329 passengers, and now you want to kick your wife out for that offense. It was like, and everything, like even her life, her son's life, she wanted to politicize, which was really, really distasteful. But and even the decisions that she made, I mean, even keeping quiet with the rape incident where Big Jerry raped her, she used that to get Papa Fitz to apologize to him. We don't blame Fitz for that, for not knowing, but he could have asked. And the dynamic that I see between Melly and Liv, and two extremes of women who are near power and what women are allowed to have when they're close enough to power. Because when you look at Melly, she basically has one job: to get Fitz to the White House, to be the wife, the ornament, the first lady, the wife, the image of the family, so that he is able to get to office. And she's basically an ornament. She is to be seen and not heard. She is to stand by him and everything. She is to be able to have this proximity and stay with people who have power but not want that power for herself. And when we go to Liv, is adored. She is loved. She does the work of cleaning other people's messes, of stabilizing organizations, of being able to, shift the narrative. She has the power. The power is massive, but it is not legitimized, and that is the extremes. And I think the two ways in which women are kept in boxes when they are close to power or when they aspire for power. And it was just fascinating to also see that TV and really portrayed in that kind of way. Melly resents Liv. There's a resentment to that because she's publicly humiliated. She is used in Fitz's presidency, while Liv gets to have the adoration and the respect from Fitz. There's a resentment there, but Melly is also strategic. strategic and smart to understand that she needs this mistress to run her campaign so that she's the first female president of the United States. She needs this woman's brilliance, so she is going to stomach the fact that this is the husband's mistress that she has to work with for the presidency. She bears it. She bears it. In other words, and I love how at the ending they almost had like this bestie, we are going to be girls together. My agenda is to make sure that you are flawless, that there are no mistakes for the first woman president. Actually, Jake next. Jake, oh my god. He pissed me off because, okay, so he was a B613 agent who became command, and then the command title was taken from him, and he also served in the military with Fitz, the president, and Fitz tasked him with the mantle to surveil, to put surveillance over Olivia and watch over her. And Jake fell in love with the woman and they started sleeping with each other, and now he was torn between duty to B613, the love he has for Olivia and loyalty to Fitz, and it almost made him this pastor with just no backbone. He could be wherever, he could do whatever. Like, we did not know what Jake stood for. Such a sad thing because Olivia didn't fully choose him. He was always destined to really be a second choice, which is like, damn, a tragedy. But she ran off with him to the sun, and it was just a cutie moment. I wish she stayed there, but Liv is definitely not wired to have a normal calm life, so she was always going to come back and try to live in the chaos because she thrives on controlling the chaos that she supposedly can't get away from. He represented what Olivia could have had outside of all this chaos, outside of this life. Even when he was killing people, I was like, oh my god, he's hot. I was like, did you though? But I just, in my head, it didn't register that he was actually this bad guy that kills people. Which Cyrus is the chief of staff for Fitz, and he begins off as the campaign manager, and he has the eye of seeing a politician and getting into their campaign and making them president and making them somebody, right? So he is a white gay Republican who understands that he cannot get the office through traditional routes, so he's going to steal and seize the office. He's going to gain control through unconventional means. I love that he's written with so much depth, so much multifacetedness, that him being gay and actually having multiple partners in the show is the least interesting thing about him. I love the fact that his sexuality is just like, it's something added on top of it, and he has his whole life and he has this mess of a president that he has to babysit. He has a country to run, so him being gay is just like, it's just something. It is on top of it. I love when characters are written in that way. He is a monster. He has this cutie patootie face that's just like elicits empathy out of you, even when he is guilty and he is suffering the consequences as he should of his actions. When he is going through it, you are going through it with him. Like, he has that about him. He's really a political monster, and he's willing to do anything. That's the thing. He has no line. And the worst thing that he did for me is use his husband, Eric. They needed to get dirt from Sally Langston's husband, who I told you was gay. They needed some dirt on him, and supposedly he was gay, so he sent out his gay husband as bait and loses his quest for power when he kills David Rosen. At the end, the white guy, the moral guy, he murders him. He murders him, and it is so funny because he kills him through poison, and then afterwards you can see him almost acting helpless even though he did it. And then finally we go to my favorite character, and he is Rowan Pope, Eli Pope.
Market afloat, the dollar where it needs to be, our shores at peace. I am responsible for the fact that this nation...
Eli Pope, I am blown away by his acting. He has the cadence of actor in theater, but he makes it palatable for the screen. His monologues are so well acted out. You just know you're done when Papa Pope just starts the He is so expressive, and the funniest part for me was when he told Fitz that I hate you with the passion of 1,000 suns. I hate you with the passion of 1,000 suns. Why did he have to be poetic like that? And he was just like, I might just recommend for you to cease speaking. Who uses cease speaking in just normal language? His acting is mind-blowing and fascinating to me. It is so dramatically poetic, and he is the person that you can rely on in the show to give people a good read. He will read you down. He does that to Fitz in the You Are a Boy. There's also to Olivia, when she's discovered, like the whole country discovers that she's the mistress, and she has like to be like, Olivia has to be like, twice. What? Twice is good. Oh my god, this is the man that raised Olivia Pope. He is really power hungry, and he represents the people who often feel powerless and who are victimized, especially by something they can control, which for this case was his skin color. He's a black man, and he says that he was looked over at a point to be head of CIA. So when he really got the job, he really got B613 and be command and be the leader. It's almost like he vows never to be that powerless again. And I think he raises Olivia in sort of this protective way that you need to be powerful, you need to have power, otherwise, and if you're not, you're going to be powerless, which is the worst place for you to be, especially also as a black person. So he is all about power and wanting it and controlling it. And I saw someone say that the reason why he's so fascinated by Bones, he has something for Bones, he just loves Bones, is because like he feels like power to him is ingrained in his bones too. He does love Olivia, I think. He loves Olivia deeply, but not freely. The deeply in a sense, like he is always going to be willing to protect her, to cover for her, even at the end where he agrees to really to go to the Senate hearing and, you know, just air the B613 to them, right? Like he's always going to be protect Olivia, but he doesn't love her freely, as in give her the autonomy to be truly herself and to not want to have control over her. For Eli Pope, love means control, and he hates that he cannot control Olivia, and that is why he starts and uses fear, manipulation, and violence in an attempt to get Olivia to bow before him. But Olivia is her father's daughter, and she's not going to do that. So Eli Pope really struggles with that. And Shonda Rhimes actually says that he wrote Eli Pope as he's a loving father. He's a loving father. It's just that the means to loving are an ethical means of loving. But he was by far my favorite character. I loved his monologues so much. When he read Edison to Field 2, phone really begs me to say bye. But I really did enjoy the show. It was super amazing. Eli Pope hated Fitz because Fitz gave Olivia a fantasy of a normal life, which was equal to powerlessness according to Eli Pope. So he hated that he distracted Olivia from the goal, which was to want and seize power. So he didn't like him. He did not like him, aside from the obvious idea that Fitz was just built up by white privilege. He was mediocre at best in my books. Okay, so I enjoyed the show. I loved the show. It was amazing. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what the worst things that you think each character did. I love interpreting art, and if I get something fascinating, I'm just gonna do this again. Thank you so much for being with me. My phone is at 14%. I'm gonna see you in the next. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I love this lighting. It's just like bye.